Hello everyone and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today update channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Taylor busts Thomas and Hope. Deacon pops the question. The Bold and the Beautiful recap for Friday, September 29, reveals that Taylor Hayes blustered about Sheila Carter's sociopathic guest as her discussion with Ridge Forrester and Brooke Logan continued. At Forrester Creations on Friday's B&B occasion, Taylor claimed that Sheila was unable of love and remained hopeful about John Finnegan getting through to her. At Il Giardino, Deacon Sharp wheeled out a wain with champagne and some of Sheila's favorite foods. Cleric wanted to live in the moment, but he also wanted to bandy where they went from then and suggested about all the amazing possibilities. After Cleric danced with Sheila, she talked about how hard it'd be to say goodbye. Deacon felt like fate was just going to keep pulling them together and didn't want to get off this wild lift. Once Sheila was sitting at the table, Deacon dropped to one knee and said he no way wanted to be piecemeal from her again. This was a threat worth fighting for, so Deacon said he was laying on love. Cleric verified that he loved Sheila and asked her to make him the happiest, craziest man in Los Angeles. Once Cleric prompted Sheila to say she'd marry him and come his woman, Sheila strained up and looked like she was in unbelief. At the Forrester Creations design office, Thomas Forrester suggested a break from work and overpraised Hope Logan's shoulders as effects took a voluptuous turn. Hope enjoyed it, but she wanted to make sure they were still on the same runner about their involvement. Thomas knew Hope wasn't in the same place when it came to her passions, but he reiterated that he loved her and only her. Hope just got out of a marriage, so Thomas understood that was still fresh and just enjoyed spending time with Hope, especially when they got intimate. Hope sounded pleased over that answer and kissed Thomas passionately. Back with Taylor, she mentioned that Thomas had been busy and was not responding important to her attempts to reach out. Taylor revealed that she knew about the kiss between Hope and Thomas in Rome, but she assumed they'd moved on. Ridge admitted Thomas and Hope's relationship had advanced, so Taylor grew concerned. Brooke confessed that Hope and Thomas were sleeping together, so that news left Taylor reeling. After Brooke said she tried talking sense into Hope, Ridge refocused out they were two subscribing grown-ups. Although Ridge felt they should see how this plays out, Taylor angrily asked if he allowed. This was a game. Taylor argued that Thomas had worked so hard on his recovery, but this could shoot him twisting back to the same dark, dangerous place he was in ahead. Once Taylor resolved to talk to Thomas, she set up him making out with Hope as they held each other close. Thomas and Hope pulled piecemeal after Taylor entered, so there was some awkwardness each around. Taylor said she was sorry to intrude, but she was also kind of glad she did. After Taylor mentioned that Ridge and Brooke brought her up to speed, she asked to speak with Thomas alone. Hope exited the room, so Taylor raised her worries to Thomas about his passions not being recompensed in the same way. Taylor said she'd detest for Hope to take advantage of Thomas' passions for her. Thomas comforted Taylor, but she stressed he could go back to that precarious place he was in ahead. Although Thomas promised everything was under control, Taylor asked what would be if effects didn't work out. Thomas explained that he'd an agreement with Hope, but Taylor assumed Hope was the bone who set the terms. Taylor also recalled how she didn't see Brooke's covert manipulation until it was too late back in the day. After Taylor suggested that Hope was more like Brooke than she realized, she added that Thomas was the only person who was going to get hurt in this situation. Taylor prompted Thomas to learn from her grand life fails. However, also he could wake up one day, find himself alone, and beat himself up for being so sure he'd it all under control, if Thomas didn't. In the main office, Brooke told Ridge that she didn't want Taylor condemning Hope for any of this. Ridge didn't suppose Taylor was condemning anyone and suggested she was just concerned about Thomas. Once Hope walked in, she admitted that Taylor just caught her with Thomas when they were in each other's arms. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say Taylor and Hope's feud could get worse as this plot heats up, so stick with us for updates on all the conflict. Taylor learns shocking news. Hope is Thomas' alleviation. Deacon proposes. The Bold and the Beautiful recap for Friday, September 29, 2023, indicate that Taylor Hayes cannot believe that John Finnegan has to be advised about Sheila Carter. The bold and the beautiful recap highlights Sheila is unable of loving anyone or of being loved. Sheila tells Deacon Sharp how he saved her. Sheila says having her in his life could destroy Deacon's relationship with Hope. Thomas Forrester tells Hope Logan that he needs some late-night alleviation. Taylor Hayes gets stunning news. Taylor is shocked to learn that Hope and Thomas are sleeping together. Taylor wants to know how Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, and Ridge Forrester, Thorsten Kaye, could allow this to be. Taylor says this could ruin Thomas' recovery. Hope tells Brooke and Ridge that someone differently knows now because Taylor just walked in on her and Thomas. The bold and the beautiful spoilers. Thomas Forrester needs alleviation. The bold and the beautiful spoilers reveal that Thomas decides to rub Hope's shoulders. Hope wants to make sure they're on the same runner. Thomas says there, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't love only Hope. Thomas knows that Hope just got disassociated and she isn't ready to move on. Thomas tells Hope that he loves when they're intimate. Hope and Thomas start to kiss and Taylor interrupts. Taylor tells Thomas he doesn't need to be doing this. Thomas is going to end up in the same place he was ahead. Read this, find out what happens coming on The Bold and the Beautiful. Thomas says he appreciates Taylor's concern, but he knows what he's doing. Taylor says Hope is more like Brooke than they allowed. Thomas may wake up one day and realize this too late. B&B recap. Cleric Sharp proposes. Cleric brings out all of Sheila's pets. Deacon wants tonight to be perfect and to bandy where they go from then. Cleric and Sheila begin to dance. Sheila tells Deacon that the world is right outside the door. Sheila doesn't want to be the reason Cleric loses everything he has worked so hard for. Cleric tells Sheila he's a big boy. Cleric needs to make his own miscalculations. Sheila turned his world upside down. Deacon says being with Sheila is wild and crazy. This is a lift that Deacon doesn't want to get off of. Cleric is crazy about Sheila and no way wants to be piecemeal from her again. Deacon says life is an adventure and anything worth having is. Deacon asks if Sheila will make him the happiest and craziest man in LA and marry him. Be sure to catch up on everything passing with B&B right now. Sheila's offer answer. Hope defends herself to Taylor. The bold and the beautiful spoilers for Monday, October 2, reveal that Hope Logan will defend herself against Taylor Hayes' allegations. B&B suckers know Taylor has been freaking out over the news about Hope and Thomas Forrester's status as suckers, so she's trying to shut it all down. Taylor just spoke to Thomas alone and tried to make him understand the pitfalls of being involved with Hope, especially when she doesn't repay his passions in the same way. Although Thomas is on Pall 9 right now, Taylor is upset about what'll be if effects don't work out the way Thomas wants. Taylor suggested that Hope was more like Brooke Logan than she realizes, so she may convey that to Hope herself. Formerly, she corners her coming. Of course, Hope doesn't like being compared to Brooke, so she may deny that she's like her mama when it comes to connections. Hope has been crystal clear with Thomas about not being ready for anything serious, but Taylor will remind Hope of his hung-up history and voice her enterprises. Taylor will question whether Hope really thinks it's a good idea to go down this road, but Hope will act like Thomas in on the same runner with her about their casual arrangement. Indeed so, Taylor will probably charge Hope of using Thomas to deal with her heartache over Liam Spencer, Scott Clifton, and sweat that Thomas will go off the rails when she inescapably dumps him. Hope will stand her ground, but Taylor will presumably offer a fierce warning about how she'll make Hope sorry if she ruins Thomas' recovery. At Il Giardino, Sheila Carter will have a chance to reply to Deacon Sharp's offer since he just asked her to marry him out of the blue. Once the shock wears off, Sheila will obviously suppose Deacon's sweet to make such a romantic gesture, but she just won't see how a marriage is doable for the two of them. Sheila will be reticent to accept this offer as a result, but Deacon will resolve to move her that they can ever have their happily ever later. The bold and the beautiful spoilers say Deacon and Sheila's future will come with further curveballs, so stay tuned for updates on all the highs and lows.